Presented by North Carolina. And on the way today's championship competition, we encourage our fans to patronize our first defender in the Michigan area, located at the center of the discussion. For your safety, we ask that you please remain off the basketball court before I terminate today's competition. Emergency exits are located in each corner of the arena. Also, of the important shorter ticket to today's championship game comes with an expectation is to adjust yourself responsibly and to adjust the sports object while supporting today's players, coaches, and officials. Please enjoy today's championship competition and thanks everyone for your support of this year's sixth president. North Carolina is proud to serve as the official one-state provider of the North Carolina Educational Athletic Association and presenting sponsor of the 2025 State Basketball Championship. North Carolina is committed to empowering those who may be impacted by injury in partnership with the First Football Act. North Carolina provides free, no-cost access to orthopedic specialists 365 days a year. Prepare yourself now for those unexpected problems and emboldening purpose. North Carolina committed to being the better world. And fans look at your fans working with your official. North Carolina International Athletic Association officiating personalized by the and or the basketball record page on the North Carolina International Athletic Association website. If you're supported by your fan, the official personalized of today's championship.
Eventually, the association will be about starting the district season, eventually like the NCISAA. So, I'm advocating that we get it all. When they play
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful campus of Charlotte Lions and the best activities at our home site for the 2025 Women's North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association Basketball Championship presented by North Carolina. This year's Women's 3A State Championship features the two-time state champion and number 2 seed Eagles from Concord Academy. Today's tournament competition, we encourage everyone to please rise and remove your hats to join the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association, along with our student athletes, coaches, and officials, as we proudly honor the United States of America and those serving to support our freedom at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what surrounded we as the twilight's last gleam was washed by and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag
We now begin our competition by introducing the starters for today's championship. First for the Eagles of Concord Academy, who begin today with a season record of 26-6. Starting at guard, applying to three freshmen, number 5, Quinn Hicks. And substitute of freshman, number 32, Faith Beckett. And forward, a 6'1", freshman, number 23, Justice Alexander. Also, at forward, junior, number 4, Shibla Robert. And then guard, a second junior, number 20, Taylor Smith. The head coach for the Eagles, Angel Alexander. And now, the starter for the top-ranked Crusaders. Grace Christian holding a season record of 21-4. At forward, a 6-foot freshman, number 23, Aurora. And center of 6'3", sophomore, number 24, and guard of 7 sophomore, number 0, Jordan. And guard of 5 senior, number 3, Isa Roa. And at guard of 5'7" senior, number 11, Alessi.
And one.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Championship Saturday. We are live here at the SAC Gymnasium on Charlotte Latin's campus here in Charlotte for the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association 3A Girls Basketball State Championship. I'm your play-by-play host here, Josh Springer, coach of the 17-time state champion girls basketball at Providence Day. Alongside me, Hawks media production director, Joe Teets. Looking forward to a fantastic game. And Grace Christian wins the tip. Jordan Speller, the sensational sophomore point guard, brings it across the timeline. Grace Christian defeated Concord Academy 73-32 around Thanksgiving. For Concord Academy to have a great one today, Justice Alexander is going to have to be spectacular. Grace early on the board with an early 2. Point guard for Concord Academy here, the lefty, Taylor Smith, brings it across and will run the action for the visitors. Long 3 by Faith Beckett off the iron. Speller is deadly in transition here, at her best. Rebound by sophomore Kendall English gives the Crusaders another possession. Concord Academy in a zone defense early on here as Speller sets up the show. You can see already the size advantage for the Crusaders is a problem for Concord Academy. Kendall English, one of the top sophomores in the state of North Carolina, gets the putback for an easy 4-0 lead for Grace Christian.
Yeah, she's listed on the roster there at 6'3", and we can already see that height advantage playing a part early in that inside game.
Joe, not only is she tall, she is incredibly strong, incredibly physical and athletic. That's a handful in the paint on both ends.
Absolutely.
Concord Academy with a double screen to try to get number 5, Quinn Hicks, open in the corner, but they turn it over. Issa Roman with a beautiful bounce pass, and Speller lays it in. Timeout, Concord Academy. Head coach for Concord Academy, D'Angelo Alexander, had a storied career at Charlotte men's basketball, now coaching his daughter Justice, the aforementioned 6'1" freshman, wearing number 23 for the Blue today. Again, Justice averages 25 points per game for Concord Academy. She averages 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Again, she will have to have a big afternoon for Concord Academy to stay in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see how quickly Grace Christian was able to go on that outlet. Tic-tac-toe passing that would make any coach proud to see, finishing off with that bounce pass for an easy layup, causing the Eagles to call their first timeout.
In our conversation with Coach Alexander before the game, he talked about we have to keep them out of transition because Grace Christian is at their best when they're running downhill with Spellers quarterbacking the offense. Back to live action here. We've got Taylor Smith, again, the lefty point guard for Concord Academy. A high ball screen here, trying to get to her right. Now she waves off the screener. Pitch to the corner for 3, long off the iron. Offensive rebound by Beckich. Another 3. Folks, get ready to see a lot of those. Concord Academy has 5 players that shoot 30% or more from beyond the arc. Roman brings it across the timeline here for the Crusaders. Speller running the show again. Concord Academy in a matchup 2-3 zone. English on the post feed. The kick out to Roman. The App State signee is a deadly specialist, and a beautiful cross-court pass right there by English. 9-0 for Grace Christian.
That's what I love to see, too. We talked about English's height and presence in the paint, but for her to be able to spin right there and find the open 3 on the wing just makes her a dominant force in many threatening areas.
Right there, Hicks tried to match the 3, wasn't able to. Speller running downhill, and a little too much English on top of it for Mobo. Mobo runs the floor extremely well in transition. That one just a little too high up the ladder. You see number 23, Mobo, guarding Taylor now. Again, the high ball screen for Concord Academy. We're just over 3 minutes in here in our 3A North Carolina Independent School State Championship game. Another long three-point attempt off the iron by Beckich. Roman down the floor to a running English and a beautiful basket. Nice post run by Kendall English. Now an 11-0 lead for the Crusaders over the Eagles. And the Crusaders are picking up about three-quarter court pressure against Smith here. Alexander in the mid-post taking her time. You see the early assignment is being drawn by Issa Roman on the defensive end. Alexander from deep and knocks it down. And Coach Woodard, I don't think, was very happy for Grace Christian. I think he thought there may have been a moving screen there. Justice Alexander has elite range. She crosses half court and is in range, has made 63 pointers on the season, and a definite confidence boost for Concord Academy. We've got a tie-up on the other end, back to the Eagles.
Yeah. Taylor Smith doing a great job there getting that rebound, drawing the jump ball, and being able to get that possession arrow pointing in the Eagles' direction as they're going to try to get back-to-back baskets here now.
So it looks like we've got a foul on Roman off the ball, and that's a great part of the show to watch today. Obviously, Justice Alexander is going to run off a multitude of screens today to try to get free. You saw her range from 27 feet. Out of bounds play action right here. Trying to get Alexander. Decoy to the corner. Beckich inside. No points, but now we've got Alexander with an offensive rebound, a putback, and one. And the visiting team has come to life just over 4 minutes through the opening period. We've got an 11-5 lead by Grace Christian. Justice Alexander trying to give her team her 6th point of the afternoon and some momentum here in the early stanza. Free throw is good, and we've got an 11-6 lead for the number 1 seed Grace Christian Crusaders, who, as mentioned earlier, defeated this Concord Academy team in November by a score of 73-32. Kick out after a post feed to another lefty. Halisi Whitley was short on the three-pointer, ball out of bounds. It'll go to the visitors.
And the Eagles trying to grab some momentum here now, making their last 2 possessions. And they're going to try to fight off this press to be able to get set up in their side of the court.
Beautiful drift pass right there by Taylor Smith. Again, number 5. Looks like Quinn Hicks has had a couple open looks from that right corner. Just hasn't quite been able to connect yet for Concord Academy.
Yeah, and Alexander gets that rebound, but they call the jump ball on simultaneous possession, and the Crusaders now will take the arrow again.
Pretty clean first quarter as we've had just 2 fouls. Beautiful interior pass by Mobo right there to English. Couldn't get the bunny to drop. Rebound clears to Smith, off to Alexander, now running the point. High ball screen there by Beckich, being physical, trying to get Alexander free. Roman does a good job fighting over the screen, not once, but twice. Ball reversal to Beckich, and what a luxury to have a 5-man that can step out and not take, but make 3-pointers. That's a 9-0 run by the Eagles to answer the 11-0 run by the Crusaders to start the game. Long 3 by Roman, bounces off, and we've got Smith going the other way again.
Yeah, we talked about English coming in at 6'3" on the roster. Beckich is listed at 6'2", and that's definitely going to be a battle that we're going to enjoy seeing throughout this entire game.
And you would think that battle's going to be in the paint. We've seen English in the paint, but Beckich is really doing a good job of pulling English away from the basket, stretching the floor, creating spacing, and is 1 for 2 from beyond the arc thus far.
And another high foul there, called on Roman. I believe that's going to be her second.
So this is the interesting chess match. Roman goes to the bench with her second foul. She was the primary defender, and Grace Christian's asleep on the inbounds pass. We've got a lob to Alexander for her 8th point of the game. We are knotted up at 11 apiece with 2 minutes to go. Speller walks it down with a pull-up 3, offensive rebound by Mobo, and a tie-up with Alexander. The arrow goes to the team in blue. Concord Academy will bring it down.
Yeah, Alexander couldn't get it at the highest point, but did a fantastic job of being able to get that tie-up for the jump ball as soon as the Crusaders brought it down.
Full court man-to-man pressure applied by Grace Christian. Concord Academy only dresses 8, and so we'll see if fatigue plays a factor late in this ball game. Smith with the left-hand drive, a little too strong. Speller out in transition where she's electric, and what a pass to Mobo. Beautiful play. 13-11, the Crusaders take the lead once again.
Yeah, beautiful no-look pass there. Dishing it off for the easy layup for the Crusaders to take the lead.
Speller has elite vision, elite athleticism, and is just so difficult to handle in transition. You see the new matchup now is Mobo guarding Alexander. Tag team effort with Roman on the bench with 2 fouls. Difficult to get a shot off. Again, Beckich stretches the floor. How many of those 3s can she make? As English is sitting in the paint providing help. That's 1 for 3 now for Beckich from beyond the arc. We are under a minute as Speller brings it across the timeline. Pitch over to Whitley on the right wing. Back to Speller in the paint. Ball reversal. Wing 3 is good by number 5, Aaliyah Frost, giving the Crusaders a 16-11 lead.
Yeah, Frost came in whenever Roman had her foul trouble and immediately contributing there, that 3 on the wing.
You don't get to a state championship game without elite bench play, and both of these teams have that. Alexander off the bounce. Good contest by Mobo, and the referee points to the Crusaders. 22.2 to go here, Joe. Let's see if they hold for the final shot.
Yeah, she tried to just drive in, drawing the foul, but just couldn't get the contact that she was looking for there. And that will give the Crusaders here an opportunity to get one last shot here in this first opening quarter.
8 seconds to go. Ball over to Whitley. Post feed to Mobo, trying to barrel her way into the paint. No dice as Beckett shuts her off. Whitley from 3. Off the back iron. What a fast-moving first quarter. Only 3 fouls total, and we've got the number 1 seed, the Grace Christian Crusaders, who came in with a 21-4 record, leading 16-11 over the number 2 seed, Concord Academy Eagles, who came in with a 26-6 record. Concord Academy, big fan base in Charlotte today as they have their boys and girls teams competing for the state championship today. Their boys will take on Greensboro Day at 4 o'clock at Providence Day this afternoon. And let's actually set the schedule for the entire day. We've got number 1 seed Victory Christian versus Crossroads Christian at 6 o'clock here at Latin today. We've got the number 1A boys, Victory Christian against Crossroads Christian at 1 o'clock at PD. Number 1 seed Christ School versus Carmel Christian at 7 o'clock, boys at PD. And next, 4A girls, 4A girls, Cannon versus Wesleyan Christian at 3 o'clock today. Again, 2 state championship games last night as Caldwell Academy boys beat Burlington, and Rocky Mount girls beat Caldwell Academy, and 6 state championship games to be crowned today. 3 girls games at Latin, 3 boys games at PD. The start of period number 2, and once again it's Speller bringing it in, attacking the Eagles' zone defense.
And a nice poke there already from Smith just to be able to knock that one loose. Picked up there by Brower on the loose ball, and the Crusaders usually get the first turnover in the second quarter.
Brower did a nice job with active hands. Alexander brings it down, receives it back in the corner. Again, you can tell the Concord Academy philosophy is let's get a high ball screen to try to create space for Justice. Beautiful crossover, change of direction. That's the 3rd foul Justice Alexander has drawn now. The first on Mobo, I believe. But again, the fouls are starting to stack up. We have 2 on Roman and 1 on Alexander. Let's see if she stays as the primary defender on Justice. First free throw, nothing but nylon for Justice.
And she's doing a phenomenal job here. I'll double check that at halftime. I believe we do got 2 on Mobo. Pick up 1 early in the first half, in the first quarter, as she comes and takes a seat early in the second quarter.
My apology, Joe. That's why I've got somebody smarter than me next to me on the call, folks. And now we've got number 12 entering the game here for Grace Christian, Desaria Smith. Let's see if she gets the assignment to guard Alexander on the other end. We've got a 16-13 ball game, just over 7 minutes to go. A nice steal by Taylor Smith on the post entry for the Eagles. Coming down with a chance to tie. Loves using that left hand. Back to her left here off the ball screen. Number 5 for Grace Christian, Frost, doing a nice job with great ball pressure. Influences to the baseline and forces Smith to throw it off the backboard. Smith not very happy with herself. Grace Christian will bring it the other way.
Yeah, they want to try to take possession or take advantage of that turnover and be able to tie things up. Game of runs we've seen already today where the Crusaders came out to a 9-0 lead. Eagles were able to tie it up. Crusaders extended that to 16-11 at the end of the first. And now the Eagles are trying to go on a small run here to tie things back up.
Speller had an errant 3 from the top of the key. Good hustle by Frost, but had a size 9 on the end line, it looked like. And it's possession back to the Eagles. Steal there by English from Beckett. Speller downhill. Acrobatic shot. Passes it to herself off the backboard. And 2 for the Eagles. 2 for the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Nice hustle by Whitley there on the inbounds. And it'll be Concord Academy ball.
I think Speller did want that foul also on the putback from the contact from behind, but nothing called. And she's going to come back out here and just play now on the full court press.
Great shot fake by Alexander. Got number 12 for Grace Christian, Desaria Smith in the air. And yet another foul drawn by Justice Alexander. This is like boxing. Body blow, body blow, body blow. That's her 5th foul drawn now against 3 different defenders for Grace Christian. We're sitting at an 18-13 lead for the Crusaders. Iron Unkind right there for Alexander. We've got just over 6 minutes to play here in the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association State Championship. Iron Unkind again. Alexander not real thrilled about being 0 for 2 there.
You made her first 3 free throws of the game, and I guess the law of averages just comes back to her. 3 for 5 on the afternoon.
We had a wing 3-point attempt by Frost there. Speller doing a great job attacking the offensive glass. Again, unfortunately, her size 9 was out of bounds. Speller comes into the game averaging 4.5 rebounds a game, a great number for a point guard. Ball comes into Alexander, coming across the timeline here against Smith. Step back three by Alexander. Wide off the backboard. Grace Christian out in transition. A 1-on-3, but Smith is not deterred. She is, however, turned away by Beckich at the rim.
Yeah, and Beckich was sure to let her know that she was the one that blocked that one on the drive through the lane.
Grace Christian leading 18-13, 5:44 to go, and Whitley the trigger man. A lob play to Speller, and one for the Crusaders. Not many high school girls basketball teams have a baseline out of bounds play that includes an alley-oop to your point guard. Folks, that is why Jordan Speller is one of the top-ranked sophomores in the country and is currently ranked the #1 sophomore in the state of North Carolina. The southpaw at the free throw line completes the old-fashioned three-point play to give the Crusaders an 8-point lead.
Yeah, phenomenal play there on that inbound, and having that talent definitely makes your inbound plays a little bit more interesting as a coach.
I always look a lot smarter the better our players are, that's for sure, Joe.
Absolutely.
Air ball by Concord Academy, and we've got Grace Christian coming down the floor quickly. Whitley may have gotten away with a walk. Post feed to English now, and I like this post feed here. Beckich on the foul, and if you're Grace Christian, you've got English trying to guard Beckich on the perimeter on the other end, and on this end, they say, well, hold on a minute. You're going to have to guard our star post player 2 feet from the basket. English to the line for 2.
Yeah, and what Concord Academy definitely doesn't want, Beckich now picking up 2 quick fouls here in the second quarter. She stayed clean in the first, but those first 2, I believe, is going to put a little difference of her defensive effort.
Well, Joe, you hit the nail on the head. The one thing Coach Alexander said before the game, he said, we cannot allow Faith to get into foul trouble. He said, we just don't have any depth in the front court, so let's see what happens the next 5 minutes here. 9-point lead for the Crusaders, folks. 22-13. Again, Beckett's trying to set a high ball screen. Alexander refuses it and walks, maybe trying to do a little too much. Ball will go back to the team in white, Grace Christian, hailing from Sanford, North Carolina, trying to win their 4th consecutive North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association state title.
Yeah, and I think Alexander was fortunate that she only got called for the travel there because it looked like that off dribble hand was extended a little bit. Could have been a very easy call, maybe if the official will call that offensive foul, but just the travel and a turnover to the Crusaders.
Nice post feed by Whitley. Kick out. One more to Speller from the wing. No good. We've got an offensive rebound here by Smith. Post feed again. Nice cut down the lane by Speller. Too strong, and a scrum in the paint. Concord Academy digs it out here, and we've got the southpaw Taylor Smith. Again, the shifty point guard. One more, and blocked by English. Offensive rebound to Alexander. Spin move, fade away. No good. Here comes Speller. 1-on-5. That will not deter her.
And Alexander had the shot, hot shooting hand early in that first quarter, but struggling here in this second to be able to find that stroke.
Nice job setting the table by Speller. She hit the trail. Whitley for 3 from the top of the key. And, Joe, you mentioned it earlier, a game of runs. We started with the Crusaders up 11-0. The Eagles answered with 9 to make it 11-9. And now the Crusaders on a big run to lead 25-13. Just about halfway through the second stanza.
Yeah, and you talked about that game early in November, a 41-point win by Grace Christian. And I always, I'm skeptical when I do research about those November games. You really don't know. Teams are still trying to figure themselves out. But you can definitely see how the Crusaders are just able to get hot and just keep pouring it on offensively as they are going just with that both that pressure on the defense, and then they have all 5 teammates that can just score from anywhere here in a Crusader uniform.
You're right. Their balance is outstanding when you have an elite point guard, an elite post player, athletic wings that can defend, versatile players that can run in transition and hit timely threes like Whitley just did. It makes it very difficult to guard. Yeah. Folks, again, we mentioned this is Grace Christian trying to get their 4th straight state championship. And you would think this is a team with a lot of continuity, yes and no. They had a head coaching transition in the offseason, Andy Woodard taking over, Jordan Speller new to the mix for the Crusaders, English new to the mix for the Crusaders after the graduation of the #1 player in the country, Sarah Strong. Speller with yet another head-first loose ball dive. Speller and Taylor Smith going at it. It'll remain possession with Concord Academy. Just to close the book on that thought, Sarah Strong again, unanimous #1 player in the country, now starring for Gina Oriema and UConn. Again, the pride of Grace Christian. Sarah's dad, Danny Strong, serving as an assistant for Grace Christian, who said, one jump ball isn't enough. Let's have two and get the possession back. Whitley will be the trigger man here on the sideline for the Crusaders.
Yeah, Jordan Speller just doing a phenomenal job here. Maybe came out a little bit slow to start out this game, but she is just doing a phenomenal job both now on the defensive and offensive side. Definitely a fun athlete to watch.
Beautiful post feed inside right there. Nice pass by Aaliyah Frost. Kendall English with the easy deuce inside, but I love the wraparound bounce pass on the baseline side by Frost. 27-13 now. The Crusaders have more than doubled up the Eagles. Again, Concord Academy trying to get the high ball screen. Now they go for a double screen on the baseline, trying to get Justice free. No solution as Smith is denying her. Now we've got a wing ball screen. Justice being
Does have to watch the count. Oh, that was
step back three, one of her favorite shots. Iron Unkind. Rebound by Brower. Cutting Alexander in the paint. Navigating her way through traffic. Great help defense by the Crusaders. It'll be Concord Academy underneath, trailing by 2 touchdowns with 3:11 to go in the second period.
Yeah, English picking up her second block of the afternoon.
Grace Christian's hands are unbelievably active. I think that's 4 deflections in the last 3 possessions for Concord Academy here. Cross-court inbounds pass for Concord Academy. Back to Smith on the top. Bekic. Post feed to Alexander with the double coming on the baseline. Little too aggressive by Whitley there on the baseline double. That'll be the 3rd team foul for the Crusaders. Again, folks, it's 5 fouls in a quarter for the 2 free throws automatic for either side. New high school rule a year ago, now mirroring what is happening on the women's basketball collegiate side and FIBA basketball. Crusaders taking it out, the Eagles taking it out, my apology, and yet another deflection by Jordan Speller.
Yeah, and Josh, I really like that rule you're talking about. They changed to the high school level. I feel like there's so many times, especially at that JV varsity, where we see 17 fouls happen in that first quarter, and all of a sudden we're just going to watch a free throw shooting contest the entire first half.
The only group we need to get on board is college men's basketball. Speller again with a theatrical pass. English missed the first one, padded her stats, got the putback, the hoop, some harm. A 29-13 lead now for the Crusaders, and Coach Alexander is beside himself right now.
Yeah, and the worst thing there is that's on Bekic, which is going to give her 3 with 2:41 remaining here in this first half. They probably could have had 3 different Eagles get called on that foul as English was just overpowering everyone inside the paint, but they do give it to number 32 in blue.
Which is the 3rd team foul for the Eagles, matching the 3-team fouls for the Crusaders. Kendall English at the line here makes it a commanding 30-13 lead for Grace Christian. 2:41 to go in the second period here. Again, Speller's ball pressure is relentless. Loose ball picked up by Bekic, and a 30-second timeout by head coach D'Angelo Alexander. We've got 2:32 to go here in the second stanza. We're coming live to you from Charlotte Latin's SAC Gymnasium here. Again, the North Carolina Independent School Athletic Association 3A Girls Basketball State Championship. Stay with us all day, folks. Coming up at 3 o'clock, we've got a beauty in the 4A Girls State Championship. Number 1 seed Cannon versus number 2 seed Wesleyan Christian. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, 1A girls, Victory Christian versus number 3 seed Crossroads Christian.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day of basketball, and thank you to our fans who are listening from afar. Again, you are listening to Josh Springer, head coach of the Providence State girls basketball team. I am Joe Teets, our director here at Charlotte Latin with Hawks Media Production. It's a great time being here in the booth with you, Josh. I know kind of bittersweet that when you talk about that 4A championship game, wanting to be on the sideline for that game, but love having you here and for the booth, and that's going to be a fun one to watch at 3 o'clock.
Amen. Appreciate it, Joe. Always fun to be with you here, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I'd rather be coaching down there on the sideline. We've been fortunate to be a part of 12 of these state championship environments in the last 17 years, winning 10 of them, and it's a special, special day. Thrilled for all these teams and coaches and fans that have this opportunity today.
Yeah, there's a great energy right now in the SAC gym of fans cheering on both these girls' teams, and we know that's just going to continue leading on all day.
We had a corner 3 missed right there by number 13 for Concord Academy, Faith Crowell. Grace Christian bringing it back this way. It'll be sideline out of bounds, and looks like we'll have number 15, Bree Sjogren, be the trigger man for Grace Christian. Substitution here for the Crusaders. Ball comes into Speller at the top of the key, directing traffic. Coach Woodard calling out his favorite zone set here as we tick under 2 minutes to go. High post feed to English and a post ISO. Offensive rebound, too much. And you can see why this happened. Number 32, Faith Beckich, goes to the bench, and Coach Woodard says, we're going to attack the backup post player right there. Difficult matchup inside with English.
Yeah, I think as soon as we saw Beckich come and sit on the bench, every coach in the stands knew what was going to happen on the offensive side for the Crusaders. And even when she's out there, I mean, just really impressed with Kendall English and her game of what she does in the paint. And that's going to be, I think, a common trend we're going to see throughout the rest of this game here.
Kendall English already holding offers from Providence, Wake Forest, UNC Wilmington, Charlotte, JMU, and the UNCG. As a 6'3 sophomore, safe to say there will be many, many more. Bell with the offensive board, the touch pass to English, and it is now a 3-touchdown lead. Crusaders 34, Eagles 13 with just over a minute to go.
And as English continues to get all those offers, she loves having that point guard, Jordan Speller, in the uniform with her because that touch pass would just made it very easy for English to turn around and get the lay-in.
Joe, you hit the nail on the head. Speller may be buying English a steak dinner tonight. English may be buying Speller the steak dinner for all those beautiful passes and making life easy on those post feeds.
Yeah.
And speaking of offers, how about Jordan Speller here? Again, number 1 ranked player in North Carolina in the 2027 class. Again, ridiculous talent. We've seen her speed, athleticism, her playmaking on display. If she can develop that consistent perimeter shot, the sky is the limit for her. Speaking of a perimeter shot, number 2 for Concord Academy, Ava McDermott says, give us 3 more. It is 34-16 now with under a minute to go in the half.
Yeah, and she wanted the foul there, I think, on that 3-point shot as she was slapping at her forearm, but way to come in already and immediately produce with that 3 from the wing.
Grace Christian content here to let the clock tick down here. Reset, Crusaders 14 fouls. Concord Academy with a foul to give here if they choose. High ball screen attacking the rim. And looks like we've got a travel there. A little bit of a peculiar decision to hold the ball for 40 seconds and attack with 20 here. And we've got Concord Academy that may get the last shot of the half at 34-16.
Yeah, great job by Alexander to be able to have those active hands and be able to get that ball just jarred a little bit to cause the travel.
Grace Christian's full court pressure has had a continual effect of wearing down the Eagles thus far. Here is Faith bringing it across the timeline. Here's Taylor Smith bringing it across the timeline with 15 to go. Post feed to Alexander. Now we are under 13 seconds to go. Step back 3 again. Too long. Rebound by Grace Christian. Tough outlet pass. Alexander in the paint with a buzzer as we go into recess. And that'll give the Eagles a little bit of momentum here. It is 34-18. The number 1 seed, Grace Christian Crusaders, gunning for their 4th straight state championship, lead the number 2 seed, Concord Academy Eagles, 34-18. Joe, what stood out to you?
I mean, we talked about the gamer runs there, but in that second quarter, the Crusaders, whenever they got hot, they just started continuing to pour it on. And, you know, we talked about both Speller and English. And just that dynamic duo for the Crusaders. I mean, it's going to be tough for any team to be able just to compete with them in that second half, especially now with Faith Beckich in foul trouble with 3 fouls. It's going to be interesting to see how they choose to defend English here in this second half.
I think you're exactly right. That third foul on Beckich was huge. And one of the major challenges for the Eagles is where does the offense come from other than number 23? Thus far, we've got Justice Alexander with all but 2 baskets for the Eagles. Ava McDermott hit a 3. Faith Beckich hit 1 triple, I believe, out of 4. And so if my math is correct, that leaves Alexander with 12 points, halfway on her season average. But again, doubling that up, getting to 36 points is not going to be enough to topple Grace Christian. So where does the second scoring option come from for Concord Academy?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Taylor Smith trying to do some things on the offensive side or on the defensive side, but where that second scorer comes is definitely going to be a big question mark here for the Eagles. As you do see, though, for the Crusaders, yes, English having 14, Speller coming up with 7 as she was able to get hot, but also what we say with Speller, 4 assists unofficially here on my stat sheet, and they were all just beautiful passes to be able to give to English for some open baskets.
Speller is a walking ESPN highlight reel, no doubt about it, Joe.
So, fans, we're going to pause here for a few moments. We're going to send the camera down to the court where you're going to see both our Eagles and Crusaders cheerleaders, I think, doing a little competition here. And we will be back in a few minutes for that second half of our 3A state championship.
Today's official 1-time scoring total brought to you by two of our great sponsors, and North Carolina State. Offering quality workmanship, music, and drugs, and top support. The 2025 North Carolina Municipal Athletic Association State Basketball Championship, and by our Bureau of North Carolina. For being local for unprecedented activities, really matters. That's why we're proud supporters of the NCISAA. Whether it's supporting the student athlete or giving back to the local community, North Carolina Sport Bureau is here to give us. In the first half, for the Eagles of Concord, Baby Kennedy was 3 points. Also was 3 points. And President of the 23 Justice Center was first half was 3 off the Eagles in the first half. And for the number 1 ranked Crusaders are Grace Christian. Also with 2 points. 16 singular 3 points. 8 points. So, it's 5 points, 7 points, and 81 scores in the first half. So, for number 24, Temple, with 17 first half points. 17 fouls on the Crusaders in the first half, and projected to start the second half.
And welcome back, fans, for the second half of our 3A state championship. I am Joe Teets with Hawks Media Production here at Charlotte Latin, here with play-by-play broadcaster and Providence Day varsity girls basketball coach Josh Springer. And Josh, what are you looking forward to here in this second half?
Well, again, obviously it's a pretty sizable lead for the favorites, Grace Christian here. Concord Academy with the first trip. They've got to hit from deep. They've got to hit 10 threes in this game to have a shot. Fade away in the mid-post by Alexander. Too short, and again, Speller going downhill in transition for Grace Christian. Speller had 7 points, 4 beautiful assists in the first half. Post feed there by Grace Christian, deflected out of bounds. We've got 7:38 to go, and Whitley will trigger it in on the baseline out of bounds play against Concord Academy's 2-3 zone. Inbounds pass up high, back to Whitley in the corner, and English standing out at 22 feet. One more to Isa Roman, who we have not seen since early in the first quarter due to foul trouble. Grace Christian again dominating the offensive glass, and they will get their 4th chance at it this trip.
Yeah, Whitley was battling there. I think she wanted the foul call as she went down to the floor, but no whistle blown. Just going to be an inbound here for the Crusaders.
Great post feed inside, and English with 2 more. I believe that makes 16 points for the sophomore post player. And now we've got Grace Christian exactly doubling up Concord Academy, 36-18. Concord Academy, a 26-6 record this year. Won the state title actually in 2023 over High Point Christian and also in 2021 over ACA. Alexander with a miss in the paint. Offensive board outside here to number 20, Taylor Smith for the 2nd chance. Attacking Mobo on the top of the key, a tough task for Concord Academy. Long skip pass to Frost in the corner. One more to Beckich. Back to Frost. And we've got ball skipped out up top to number 20 here. Smith. Great defense being played by Grace Christian. Alexander on the wing. Spin move. Gamble by Speller doesn't pay off, and it cost them 2. Taylor Smith, the southpaw, with a nice lefty in traffic.
Yeah, Smith picking up her first bucket of the game. So we talked about potentially one of those players who can try to contribute on the scoring side here for the Eagles.
Well, and Taylor Smith averaged almost 12 points a game this year, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals. She's the likely candidate, Joe, that needs to step up and hit double digits for the Eagles. Again, full court pressure. You can see full court denial defense being played on Alexander by Isa Roman. Again, they want to make her work for everything she gets on the 94-by-50. Back to Alexander in the corner. Another high ball screen that Roman fights over. Let's set another one. Alexander may have gotten away with a clear out, creating space, but draws the foul on the baseline, and Roman cannot believe it. Let's see who that one's on here. Looks like her 3rd personal right there, Joe. Beautiful backdoor cut by Beckich, and Taylor Smith found her for the easy deuce. 36-22, just over 5:30 remaining in the 3rd period as Speller brings it down. Whitley from the left wing. Too strong, rebound to Alexander. Checks the scene to make sure it's safe and brings it over to number 20 here, Taylor Smith. Alexander now with the high ball screen. Beckich with a dribble handoff on the top. Roman gambled, no dice, and it goes back to the top to Beckich for 3. Huge shot for the Eagles, cutting the deficit to 11.
Yeah, a little energy here now from the away crowd, trying to get this going early in the 3rd quarter.
36-25. Speller working on her and one mixtape. Out at the volleyball line here. 4:40 to go. Coach Andy Woodard calling out the set. Ooh, got away with a entry pass that could have used a little more mustard. Concord Academy staying in their matchup zone. Speller with a spin move. Rejected by Beckich. Taylor Smith coming out with it. And Speller getting a deflection. Roman to Speller. Highlight time. 2 more for the Crusaders. 38-25.
Yeah, it was a great job initially there by Beckich to be able to get the block with her hand straight up on Speller, but they had a little trouble there on the outlet and an easy layup there for Jordan.
Pitch out to Beckich for 3. She is feeling it. Concord Academy had a great matchup there with English on the point guard with left Beckich wide open for 3, and it is down to a 10-point lead. Again, Grace Christian totally outclassed the Eagles in the first matchup in November, 73-32. Coach Alexander said, our team is different this time around. 38-28, 3:34 to go. The momentum snapped temporarily by a whistle against the Eagles, and it'll be Grace Christian baseline out of bounds.
Yeah, Taylor Smith picking up her first personal there to the disagreement of the Concord Academy crowd.
Aaliyah Frost back into the action and immediately shoots a weak side corner three. Short off the iron. Concord Academy back this way. Pull-up jumper by number 5, Quinn Hicks, knocking down her first basket of the game. It is an 8-point lead. Tough post feed inside, head first to the floor. Concord Academy looks like they're going to dig it out. And the Eagles crowd is on their feet, imploring them to play that suffocating defense. 38-30, the Crusaders lead. Their lead has been almost cut in half since recess, Joe. 38-30, and now we've got Issa Roman checking back into the game with those 3 fouls.
Yeah, she has to because Whitley just picked up her 3rd foul on that loose ball there, and that's going to just keep the momentum here on the Concord Academy side. You and I just talked at halftime of who was going to be that player to come and help Justice Alexander on the scoring side. Justice hasn't scored yet here in the 3rd quarter, and 3 different players have found a bucket already for Concord Academy.
Well, and highlighted by Bekich. Again, when you have a 5-man that can consistently make threes, she's knocked down 3 triples already here today. The referee looking for a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old to go get the loose ball. Cameraman says, I got it. Don't worry about it. We got 2:51 to go. Crusaders triggering, sideline out of bounds, trailing by 8.
Yeah, definitely an exciting one here as we talked about where Grace Christian Academy was able to come out with a big win early in the season, but Concord Academy is not going away easily here. As you see, Taylor Smith driving in there with the tough layup.
You can tell the halftime speech was about Justice needs some help, and she has gotten plenty of it, down to a 6-point lead for the Crusaders, 2:25 to go. Neither of these teams have played in many close games this year. Let's see how late game execution comes into play. Speller hanging, and finishes on the right side of the cup to give the Crusaders an 8-point lead.
And I don't think the average fan just realizes how difficult of a play she just did there.
They don't, and I'm going to tell you this. We went to Grace Christian in January, and I'll just say we didn't have a great experience up there. They lit us up. She is special with a capital S.
Yeah, definitely fun to watch here. The first game I've got to see her play and been continuing to be impressed.
Beautiful drive by the Southpaw again. Taylor Smith has taken over this 3rd quarter, puts in a nice layup to cut it to 40-34. Minute 30 to go in the 3rd stanza. Speller from deep has not hit one from out there today yet, but she keeps trying. Rebound to Alexander, 1:25 to go. 2-possession game here with Grace Christian leading by 6. Alexander tempted to pull the trigger from about 35 feet.
We've seen she's not afraid to shoot it from anywhere.
I can attest she can make it from anywhere. A lot of kids shoot it from anywhere. She can make it from anywhere. Minute 8 to go. Taylor Smith playing with a different look in her eye. Off the ball screen. Back to Bekich from the wing. That one is short and falls harmlessly out of bounds. Just under a minute to go, and it'll go back to Grace Christian.
Yeah, Concord Academy trying to lobby it. That was partially blocked as it went out of bounds on the air ball, but to no avail with any of our 3 officials, and that's going to turn over.
Again, a really clean game. Only 3 total fouls, Joe, this period. 2 for the Crusaders, 1 for the Eagles.
Yeah, and that clean game, too. It's always a thankless job with the people in stripes, but they're doing a phenomenal job tonight. We always like to thank them for that thankless job that they do, but I have definitely thought that they have been doing a phenomenal job officiating this game.
Joe, they have. These are the best of the best. That's why you get the assignment on Championship Saturday. Speller dribbling it out, again working on her highlight reel tape. And again, 25 to go. Critical moment here. 2-possession game. Concord Academy trying to get a stop and keep building on that momentum as they have cut 8 points off the lead. Grace Christian donning their green sweatshirts, rising to their feet. Speller off the high ball screen. 8 seconds to go. Deflected by the Eagles. Issa Roman from deep. Rebound Alexander. And a big momentum stop for the Eagles. It is not a 40-point game this time around, folks. Entering the 4th quarter, your number 1 seed, Grace Christian Crusaders, 40. Your number 2 seed, Concord Academy Eagles 34. Joe, what say you?
I mean, we talked in the second quarter how just Grace Christian just dominated, winning that quarter 18-7. But now whatever the Concord Academy talked about in the locker room was seeming to help because they won that third quarter 16-6. And that momentum is just going to continue to push on here in this fourth quarter. It's going to be a fun one, Josh, here, as you said, for game one of Championship Saturday. We have a great energy here in the SAC gym, and I'm looking forward for these final 8 minutes.
It's fantastic. Again, let's see. There have not been a lot of fouls called, but the ones that have been called, excuse me, Joe, we've got a number of players with 3 fouls. I believe we've got Faith Beckich, post player for Concord Academy, with 3. And for Grace Christian, looks like we've got Halisa Whitley and for 3, and Issa Roman with 3 as well. So again, one storyline to watch here. Who, if anybody, picks up an early fourth? And I know the role players have played big for Concord Academy, but this is Justice Alexander's moment if the Eagles are going to bring it home.
Yeah.
And again, for Grace Christian, the dominant inside-out play of Speller and English. Let's see if that can carry them across the finish line.
Yeah, that third quarter, Concord Academy had 6 points from Taylor Smith and then another 8 from Beckich. And let's see if they can keep that to try to help. Justice Alexander held scoreless in that third quarter.
3-point shot. What feels like English's 100th offensive rebound on the day, and it's just not fair. We've got a wing shot by Frost that caromed long, and English just treats it as a pass to herself. A little Mike and drill, offensive rebound. She was fouled there by the Eagles, and we'll go for 2. Foul there committed by Justice Alexander, only her first of the day, and quite frankly, a good foul. You don't want to give up a layup, and you hope maybe only English makes 1 or 2 if you're the Eagles.
Yeah, I was getting nervous there when both Alexander and Beckich there in the paint to see which one they were going to call the foul on. I believe they did point out 23.
English with a nice touch from the free throw line that you don't always see from post players. Extends the lead to 8 here. 7:40 to play. Alexander downhill. Can't get the shot over the length of Mobo. Outlet pass by Roman to Speller. Jump stop. And 2.
Yeah, Speller just doing a phenomenal job there, trying to draw a foul at that jump spot, and was able to get her 13th point of the evening.
10-point lead. Foul on the ground there by Grace Christian's number 5, Aaliyah Frost. Taylor Smith continuing her aggressive penetrations to the basket. Concord Academy down by 10 with the inbounds. To Beckich for a wing 3. No such luck. Alexander with an offensive board. Speller tried to leap 53 inches and block the shot. No such luck, and picked up the foul.
Yeah, it's only Speller's first foul, though, of the game, so quality foul there. Going to send Alexander to the line.
Joe, just like you said on the other side, smart foul by Alexander. This is a smart foul by Speller. You hate to give up the offensive rebounds, but you want to make them earn it with 2 at the charity stripe. Alexander's first point of the second half here, trimming the lead to 9 with just over 7 to play. Second one is clean, and we have got a 44-36 lead for Grace Christian. Speller holding up the play call, efficient hand signals for the home team. Looks like a baseline runner. Issa Roman trying to get free. Again, English posting strong. Speller from 18 knocks it down. She has yet to hit a triple, and so tough jump shot there from 18 feet for Speller, showing off her versatility on the offensive end.
Yeah, that jump shot for Speller, though, is probably one that she's taken in a gym by herself 1,000 times.
You cannot fake your way to being a great shooter. You're exactly right, Joe. Speller a little over-aggressive now, picking up her second foul there on Alexander, which is 3 already on the Crusaders with just over 1:18 gone by here this period. Alexander screaming for it in the post against Speller and didn't get it. Still in the post against Speller. Great active hands right there by number 5, Aaliyah Frost for Grace Christian. Sideline out of bounds.
Yeah, just love this intensity and energy here in this fourth quarter. Both sides just cheering on their teams, trying to go after that 3A championship.
Alexander in the mid-post. Kick out to Beckich with a shot fake. One more to the right wing. Post feed to Alexander. Great defense by Speller getting in front. Off to the races. Count it. 48-36. Grace Christian by a baker's dozen. Just over 6 minutes to go. My apology, Joe.
No, we talked about that duo in Speller and English. English with 18 points, and Speller now just picking up her 17th with that lay-in.
Beautiful drift pass there by Concord Academy. Offensive rebound by number 5. Frost not able to get it. And a deflection by English in the paint.
Yeah, Justice wide open down there on the opposite block. Just none of the teammates could find her that quickly before English was able to regroup and knock that one out of bounds.
5:51 to go. Again, Grace Christian going for their 4th consecutive state championship. Number 5, Aaliyah Frost, takes care of the Velcro, the shoelaces. We're back to live action. Beautiful diagonal back screen, and we get Bekich on the dive. The Grace Christian crowd screaming they thought it was a blocked shot. It's going to result in a foul by Kendall English. That will send number 32, Faith Bekich, to the line. A 6'2 freshman. How about the versatility she has put on display tonight?
Yeah, we've seen her shoot it from the outside with 3 threes, has 1 bucket, and now that's her first free throw. Talked about English. That's English's only first foul of the game after she has also 3 blocks. And I think anytime you would say, hey, you're going to have more blocks tonight than you are fouls, that's going to be a great evening on the defensive side.
Where do I sign up?
Exactly.
10-point lead for Speller and company. Across the timeline, 5:35 to go. High ball screen, kicked over to the left wing. Quick post feed to Mobo. High-low attempt to English. Knocked away by the Eagles. Trying to cut into the lead once again. Alexander in the mid-post. Know she was watching all those Jordan and Kobe videos, learning from Dad who starred at Charlotte in the A-10 conference 20 years ago. Yet another foul put on Grace Christian. And, folks, this is a developing story. 5 team fouls for Grace Christian, which means Concord Academy is shooting 2 from the line every trip the rest of the way over the next 5:17.
Yeah, that puts Speller now at 3. So Speller, Roman, and Whitley all with 3 fouls here. And that's going to play a point, too, here towards the end of this game.
Alexander knocks down the first one. An 82% free throw shooter on the year on over 200 attempts. She nets them both. An 8-point deficit for Concord Academy as they backpedal into that matchup zone defense. 5 minutes to go. Speller on top. High-low once again. Pass is errant. Bekich deflects it and takes it away. Alexander on the left wing looking for the high ball screen here for 3. No. Iron unkind. Issa Roman will bring it the other way.
Yeah, just a little bit short on a nice shot attempt there.
Such a great answer right there for the Crusaders. That 3 could have cut it to 5, but instead we're back to a 10-point lead for Grace Christian. Much more breathing room. Great denial defense right there by Aaliyah Frost. Good ball pressure by English. Forces the tough pass by Bekich. Again, it's back to the Crusaders. We've got a full timeout on the floor. 4:26 to go, and the Grace Christian Crusaders lead 50-40 over the Concord Academy Eagles.
Yeah, tough play for Bekich there. As soon as she caught it, she took one dribble and picked it back up, and she knew she was stuck right there inside the logo at center court with no dribble and just had an errant pass to send that one off. 4:26 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Also, the Eagles now only have 1 timeout remaining for these final 4 minutes. So that's one thing they're definitely going to have to talk about too, is they got to make their coaching transitions and adjustments on the fly. And it's going to be an exciting one here, Josh, though. I'm really looking forward to this.
Joe, I'm curious to see, does Concord Academy transition from their zone defense to man-to-man? Why? Because they're down 10 points with 4 to go. Jordan Speller can dribble the air out of the ball at half court if she wants to and if Coach Woodard wants to. And so I'm curious, do they come with a trapping defense? Do they come with some man-to-man defense? But you would have to think they're going to have to make a defensive change because it's high risk, high reward right now, 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with North Carolina High School, no shot clock. And, yeah, you could just have Speller out there on top dribbling it away for the entire 4:26 if she really could. So that's always going to make things interesting here at the high school level. And we're going to see how the Crusaders are going to come out and try to defend this lead.
This is not rocket science. Nobody can cover Jordan Speller one-on-one. And so, again, here's your timeout. Grace Christian in a 1-4 high set, UCLA screen and a ball screen, still looking to attack. English dribbles it over, dribble handoff to Speller. Mobo on top, over to Issa Roman.
And we're going to see this high motion, I think. The Crusaders are in no rush to throw a shot up.
Coach Woodard is passionately pleading with his team to keep the ball high. And now he's passionately calling timeout. Again, 30 seconds off the clock is just as good as a basket for Grace Christian. A little reset for the home team. Grace Christian 21-4. They've won 13 in a row. Their last loss was to Princess Anne in the prestigious John Wall Christmas tourney. Last year they were 30-0, unblemished, defeating High Point Christian by 50 in the state title game. The year before that, 32-3, and in 21-22, 29-1. They've got 4 seniors on the current roster. On the flip side, just a lone senior, number 13, Faith Crowell, for Concord Academy.
Yeah, this Concord Academy team, I wouldn't be surprised, Josh, if we talk about Championship Saturday, talking about these two teams again next year. Tremendous depth, and like I said, it's been a phenomenal game, especially whenever you look back in November with Grace Christian being able to be a 41-point victor in their game against each other. It has not been that here today, as both teams are just putting a phenomenal effort out on the hard court.
You're exactly right, Joe. 3:40 to go. Grace Christian very content. They're using English as a ball reversal on the top of the key, but they are not even trying to score here. So, again, very content to take some air out of the ball. Jordan Speller trying all of her 32 moves with the rock at the top. Mobo posting up inside, and we've got number 5, Frost, on the left wing. Concord Academy trying to force the action, and does with a trap. Number 4, Jayla Brower, just a little too handsy. That's only the second foul on Concord Academy. Not a bad foul at all, in my opinion. They're going to have to foul 2 more times at minimum, obviously, before the Crusaders can entertain the bonus.
Yeah, and with those fouls to give, they can really put a high pressure there on the ball to try to be able to get a steal because, like I said, it's low risk if you're going to foul them right now.
Crusaders out of a 1-4 high set again. Ball screen by Mobo. Good denial right there by Concord Academy, so Speller couldn't get it back. That just shows the versatility of Grace Christian. Yes, Speller is special, but they've got multiple ball handlers. Layup, not there once. The second time it goes down for Speller.
Yeah, and that's a backbreaker for the Eagles. When you finally get the Crusaders to get a shot off, ball bounces out and you can't grab the rebound. Seeing Speller being able to get the offensive putback and get the 2 is just a tough break there for the Eagles.
Mobo is all over Alexander, not giving her a whisper of fresh air. Kick out to number 4 right here. Brower, iron unkind. And that may do it. I hate to say it too soon, but again, Grace Christian is in total control, up 12. Issa Roman between the legs, just over 2 minutes to go. And a pick and roll right there to Mobo. And unfortunate, she tripped over the blue paint. And we've got a traveling violation. It'll go back to Concord Academy with 2:08 to go. 3-point specialist Ava McDermott back in for the Eagles.
Yeah, this has been a phenomenal here. You guys are listening to Josh Springer, our varsity girls coach at Providence Day, bringing you the play-by-play. And we want to thank all you fans who've been watching today's contest, as you've been seeing a phenomenal one in the 3A championship. Take it way off you, but Justice Alexander able to get her first bucket in the second half and draw the foul.
Taylor Smith, point guard, extraordinaire, gathered the offensive rebound, found Alexander, 10-point deficit, trying to trim to 9, and they do. Alexander has been sensational from the free throw line today. We've got a 9-point deficit for the Concord Academy Eagles. Looks like Coach Alexander calling his final timeout with 1:53 to go.
Yeah, 8 of 10, Justice Alexander is from the charity stripe tonight. And like I said, she had that rough third quarter, struggling to find the basket, but has put in 7 so far here in this fourth, and 19 total on the evening. And things aren't over yet, but it is going to be tough here for the Eagles to be able to get some stops and scores in this final minute 53 seconds.
Let's talk about Justice Alexander for a second. 23 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game, 3.5 steals a game, and oh, by the way, a freshman. And we already said number 32, Faith Beckich, is a freshman, and you touched on earlier, not only is the present bright, the future is ridiculously bright for this Concord Academy Eagles squad.
Yeah, Coach Alexander, looking ahead to future years, is going to be looking at those two and building around both Alexander and Beckich, and he's going to have a tough squad here for the next couple of years.
Game reset, folks, just under 2 minutes to go. The ball will be in Jordan Speller's hands. 1:53 with her Crusaders leading by 9, gunning for their 4th consecutive state title. Across the timeline on the right side, high ball screen, and that is a really difficult switch. Nice job there by Beckich, but they're unable to dig it out. Speller gets the offensive board again, and a right side wing by number 23, Mobo. Not sure if Coach Woodard wanted that one. Minute 30 to go. Ahead to Alexander down the right side.
Yeah, Josh, I was really shocked to see their Crusaders quickly shooting in that offensive set out of the timeout. As we've seen traditionally in the last 3 minutes, they were not even looking to get inside the three-point line. And there's going to be an off-ball foul.
Again, it's a fine line between being physical and denying Alexander and holding her, and I thought that was the right call. We've got a minute 15 to go, and again, like you said, Alexander's an 80% free throw shooter. The last thing Coach Woodard and his Grace Christian Crusaders want to have happen is to give free points, and Coach Woodard is reminding Roman of that right now on the sideline.
Yeah, Roman picking up our 4th foul. Doesn't matter too much in the last minute and 15. Unless we go into some crazy thing happening where we're going to see overtime as Justice Alexander makes 2 of 2.
7-point lead for the Crusaders. A minute 12 to go. Concord Academy now in a man-to-man defense because they really have no other choice. They try and trap Speller. Easier said than done, and she lays it in. She dribbled past a trio of Eagles and made it look like her own layup line.
I mean, giving the ball to Speller on the hard court's the equivalent to the victory formation in football. Just saying, put the ball in her hands and let her do her thing.
It's the same as the tush push for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's coming from a Green Bay Packer fan. We've got 44 seconds to go. The Crusaders leading by 9. Number 13 for Concord Academy. Faith Crowell now enters the game. Grace Christian again up 9, 44 to go. Will Concord Academy play the foul game?
Concord Academy only has 2 fouls so far in this 4th quarter, so the foul game's going to happen quickly.
Speller walks into a 15-foot jumper, and that is putting the icing on top of the cake. 56-45. We're down to 20 seconds to go. Long 3, Karam's off. And who else? Speller, 50-foot lead pass. Out to Roman, and they will dribble it out, I would guess, here. Grace Christian in their green erupts here at Charlotte Latin. Speller, 4, 3, and Grace Christian is your 2025 3A state champions.
A phenomenal one that we just saw there. Symbolic maybe that Jordan finishing with 23 points. I mean, Speller just did a phenomenal job, and you see why she's ranked in the top in the state.
The key to winning in February, March is guard play, and point guard play specifically. And when you can put the keys to the car in Jordan Speller's hands, good things happen. A well-rounded game by Grace Christian. English was dominant in the paint. The defensive efforts by Issa Roman and by Mobo. And then you combine that with Speller's playmaking and finishing in transition and at the rim. You can see why it's a very, very difficult combination to beat. Hats off to Concord Academy on a valiant effort today. Again, they came up short by 41 to Grace Christian in November. Today, battled their guts out. Coach Alexander and his crew have a lot to be proud of, despite falling 56-45 today, Joe.
Yeah, this is something where, it's going to sting at first, but I think in the long run, when these girls are going to be able to look back at the season, they have a lot of things to be proud of. And the way they battled here against a very tough Crusaders team is just phenomenal. And I love, too, even if you look at the small spurts, Crusaders came out 9-0. It could be in a lot of teams, but you know what? It's going to be another 40-point deficit. But they brought it back to a tie game, took an early or a late lead, and it just wasn't enough, though, for against Jordan Speller and Kendall English and that Crusader team. And, really impressed with what we saw here this evening.
The reality of Championship Saturday. One team gets to hold up the championship trophy, the other team with the runner-up. And again, only one team wins it all at the end of the year in each classification. And so, again, it can be disappointing in the moment if you're a Concord Academy Eagles fan or player or coach. But again, they have nothing to be ashamed of. Hold their heads high on a valiant effort. And again, a huge shout out to Grace Christian, now claiming their 4th consecutive NCISAA state championship, with the transition of a new head coach this year, with the transition and matriculation of 2 new players in Speller and English. Looks like we're going to have the award ceremony here shortly, Joe.
Yeah, we're going to send it down here to the table, but we talked about that. We talked about both Alexander and Belwich as freshmen. Speller and English are sophomores, and like I said, I have a feeling if we look at the 3A state championship next year, it may be both of these two teams battling for it again. But yes, as you spoke, 16 teams went into this 3A bracket, 15 of them ended on a loss. So congratulations to the Grace Christian Crusaders. We're going to send the camera and audio down to the court as you see the medal presentation here to our runner-ups. And again, fans, we want to thank you for tuning in to today's game. Stick around, 3 o'clock. We're going to bring you another fantastic one with Wesleyan Christian and Cannon School. But fans, we're going to send it down to the court and want to thank you for listening.
It's now time to present the 2025 North Carolina NCISAA Athletic Association Women's 3A State Championship Trophy, which this year is awarded to Grace Christian School for all she sent for their 4th state championship. Next, for individual recognition of the 2025 State 3A champions, student athletes from Grace Christian will receive the medal for the 3A competition. Will be handed out the Carolina Careful Six. Number 0, Jordan Steiner. Number 5, Aaliyah Walsh. Number 12, P. Smith. Number 15, Adriana Shirley. Number 23, Adora Oba. Number 24, Kendall Ingram. Number 42, Courtney herself. Senior, number 3, NCISAA. And senior number 11, Holly C. Whitmore. Offensive coach, Danny Strong. And the head coach of the state champion Grace Christian Crusaders, Andy Water. Ladies and gentlemen, let's award one final resounding applause to both these talented teams and all these outstanding students and employees.
Hi, bro. Okay.